going on, YouTube world? Haha, he's Steve. I'm Dave. This is the Instant Revolution podcast, episode number 62.
I failed.
I was waiting for it. I'm like, why are you switching it around?
I have no response.
Paul, Yannick, what's going on? See the chattering between you guys before the show starts up. Tonight, another, hopefully, conversation-based, conversation-centric episode where we'll talk more about music. And it doesn't always, it's a better half. It doesn't have to be centered around cards. I know I put in the descriptor about, let's say you're sorting through stuff, and let's say at that time you don't want to listen to more podcasts or hobby content. You're just like, you know what? I want to listen to this while sorting. I just want to get lost in that while I'm getting lost in cards. I hope not. I hope not, Paul. And then, let's say if you're in a road trip, you're going to National, you're going to a card shop, card show, or wherever you're going to do hobbying, is there something you listen to? Maybe you listen to some old Pantera, some Slayer, to get yourself amped for, okay, let's go good deals only.
It's all about the vibe, Dave. All about the vibe.
Good vibes. So, and again, it's something we've talked about post-show discussions. We've talked about on the weekend when we've had some of these get-together things. I know with Michael, this film Not Yet Rated, we talked a little bit about music there too. And again, with our lives, it's huge. It's not like just hobbying. It's huge as a foundational piece. That I'm guessing poor Vinny has to listen to that. So that's sort of where I envision this episode. Again, a lot of folks out there are talking about something like this where it's a fairly easy topic. We're not going to show you what we're auctioning off for personal gain. I do that on my channel, Steve. If you want to, you do it on his channel.
$10,000. $15,000. Oh, I thought you said we were auctioning off. Sorry, Dave. I misunderstood. My bad.
We aren't going to go on another app, or we're not going to direct you in all these directions. And again, it's the shysters come out in people, and they come out very quickly. And if people don't see that, well, that's up to them. But try to just talk about music tonight. I'm trying not to be negative. I'm trying. It is fucking insanely impossible. Work is fun, minus the N. It is good.
So F you? Is that what you're trying to imply? Okay. Just making sure I was understanding the connotation here.
I wanted to use the correct verbiage to
nomenclature.
To eloquently get my point across. And then the weather, too, that's another... I'm sure it's worse for Paul and the folks up in the western part of Canada. But as soon as that calendar turns to November 1st and the delightful white stuff is floating in the air and on the ground, and you're frigid again. It's like clockwork, I know. But same time, you hope for an Indian summer. You hope for a little warmth to continue on, and yeah, that's what I had yesterday. And overnight, it a little more accumulation, not much, but just enough for the 21 block walk to work. Enough frozen spots on the ground where I slipped about 5 times. So it wasn't maybe more than a couple 2-3 inches, but still, it's the fact that it's here. Thankfully not.
I was seeing if you could hear my wife chewing out her son on the phone.
A little bit.
Yeah, we don't have no snow, but we're getting we're getting rain, and it's 48 degrees, which is a little chilly here this time of year. So yeah, interesting.
You're still in what, the 60s usually about this time, maybe topping out low 70s.
Yeah, usually lows in the 50s, but we've got lows in the 40s for the next couple days, and then we have 2 days where we'll actually be in the upper 30s for lows, which is unseasonably chilly here in Texas. So yeah.
Who are we sponsored by tonight, Steve? Tap into the Rockies. We do have a co-sponsor. Not the usual. Mike Black Cherry.
Yeah, unfortunately, stores have been out of Yingling as of late, so got to go with something, right?
Got to go with what you can get.
Yep. Got to go with the flow, man.
So anything pick up or anything pop up on eBay or elsewhere that you've been intrigued by over the past week or so?
A couple of drunks. No, far from it.
I was going to say Eric.
Far from it. We were just actually having this conversation pre-show. I usually cap my drinking at 3, unless it's Friday and Saturday. But I still monitor. Being drunk is not an enjoyable feeling sometimes, so I try and avoid it at all cost. But I did pick up one thing. We'll see. It's going to be one of those in which it's been marked as shipped, I should say. No tracking. Yet I paid, $4.35 or whatever for shipping. So I would have thought I would have gotten tracking. So it's going to be one of those in which I'll be recording as I walk to the mailbox, recording while I open it type situation, just to play it safe. Yes, we know you're a drug and alcohol counselor, which is awesome, by the way. I actually considered going to school for psychology and actually going into substance abuse. As a past druggie. Are you ever a past druggie? I guess you're always recovering, I guess is the correct terminology. But yeah, awesome career choice, awesome profession. We need more people who actually can reach these people because it can grab a hold of you. And I'm prime example of that twice over, to be brutally honest. But, I digress. Enough about me. We don't need to go into any sob stories about me and my lack of good life choices in the past. But 20 years. So 20 years sober. So just throwing that out there. Not from alcohol, of course. That doesn't count. I don't consider myself an alcoholic. I don't have to drink every night. My wife is laughing about something.
Because, babe, I caught the butt end of that conversation. I caught 20 years. I'm not an alcoholic, but that sums up our life.
Go away. Go take a shot. Jeez.
Was I right? Were you talking about us and our 20-year alcoholism?
No, I was talking about 20 years sober from illegal substances, as in drugs.
Oh, I don't know nothing about that. I never did know that.
I was talking about me.
I know.
Yeah, we won't talk about my wife.
My husband hates you on podcast nights.
Yes, I do hate you on podcast nights.
He does. He has this YouTube podcast.
But anyways, I digress. As she closes the door.
And I'm still creeping on you.
I know you are now. You can go away. That's also why I'm not sitting outside, because it's, chilly and rainy.
Yeah.
And that is not always true, better half. If you're married, you don't have to drink. I enjoy having a cocktail. But I don't have to. It's one of those in which I want to. I go days, weeks, just kind of depends. But at least every Tuesday over the last, 62, 63 weeks, Tuesday at a minimum, there's always something in the hand. So, yeah.
Yeah, there's been a few things on eBay, but at the same time, it's other than the one I showed last week, the rare Instagram post I put up.
At least you put something up. I can't tell you the last time I've posted anything on Instagram.
Well, yeah.
I got stuff, but I just don't ever bother to think about it. I have a few videos I need to record. Just haven't gotten around to it. Is that a good enough reason? Or is that just an excuse? Or is that just an excuse? That's probably an excuse, but that's okay.
Well, again,
Thanks, Paul.
I think that'll be something we'll go into again at some point. Again, that'll be probably a more boring episode. It's like the lists. Because I was talking with Vinny about that because of certain cards that he was looking at. And then the making of content or videos or posting. Some people, you can tell, do it because they're attention whores. They just need to I need to show something. No, not me. I'm not asking hypothetical questions, and I care about other people's collecting acquisitions, but I don't want to necessarily hear what ifs all the time. I I'm in that boat where it'll go in my head like, okay, maybe that'd be cool if something happened, but it's not something I need to fucking put out there because I'm bored or I haven't had a post in 2 days. The stuff I've posted, there's been a few personal ones, and it's a lot of just cards and a lot of, unless something actually has a meaningful story, I'm putting it. I'm not, every card doesn't have a story. It's not like I'm going to talk about this card for 20 minutes because I found it in the card shop dollar box, and it's, again, it's not like something that's going to be put away and, oh my God, it's $20,000. Who cares? It doesn't, every card doesn't need a soliloquy about it.
Take note, Bobby. You're in a battle. Take note.
So I get, and I know a lot of us completely get that, where sort of like Robert Lewis, it's almost like a photo dump. He'll put like 3 or 4 or 5 in the span of a couple days. I've noticed a bit more for Bobby, our good friend Vintage Bobby Burrell. A couple things with him, where Vinny, I'm sure, just like knocked over his desk when he saw the gumball machine of the Penguins. That millions of questions came to mind. But you don't see everybody just posting. Here's a story. Here's a post. You go over to Facebook. Here's a post. Here's like a story there. Look on YouTube. There's videos. You don't need to constantly share. If you share all that stuff, at some point you become a target. So, good, bad, indifferent, floating heads, whatever. Just because people don't share a lot of that stuff, just because you're not sharing everything, doesn't mean you're not enjoying the hobby. Doesn't mean you're not finding fun in it. Doesn't mean you're not looking for things to acquire. It just because you're not blatantly putting yourself out there constantly because you have nothing going on in life. Because you don't. I mean, there's nothing going on. Doesn't mean that you're not hobbying in your own way. And I don't know. That's something that'll always bother me. Like we've said before, for the old guard, we want to see a video. We don't care. I want to know if, okay, you're away from the hobby, you got it completely out of it. What are you doing now? What are you doing? Action figures? Are you just collecting records, LPs, 45s? What you just got rid of everything and you got a family now. What? So those are the posts I like to see. I don't care if something reminds you of something and you wish somebody else would do something like it. It's been done. Believe me. You show something from the 90s, early 2000s. If you don't know that it's been done over the past 18 to 25 years, that's on you for being ignorant. So I'll step down off my soapbox.
Now you ask.
No, continue. I can't compete with my wife talking to.
I'm sorry. Hit my son in his fucking throat. You guys have a fabulous night. If you need anything, if my son's an ass, just call me or Steven. Well, call me first, and then I'm gonna
She doesn't have my number, so she can't call me.
I will hype up Steven, and then he's gonna kick his ass too. Well, that's what you get for doing what you're doing in the rain.
Singing in the rain?
I have no idea. I don't know what the heck they're talking
Shut
about.
up, you asshole. Okay, I love you both. I gotta get off the phone now. You're not incriminating me. I love y'all. I love y'all so big. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Disconnect.
You're not going to incriminate me. They can't hear what they're saying. They can only hear what you're saying. But just thought I'd throw that out there.
They have you recording shit.
Well,
God damn it.
this is live, so it will go
Not
up.
them.
Oh, let them record.
I'm not worried about your YouTubers. Hell, half the time they don't hear shit I say anyways.
They're hearing you right now.
Except when I'm a crazy bitch and was it Vinny's wife?
Yes.
That's like, the fuck? When I was a psycho bitch, that
She
was
just
Vinny.
said I love her.
Who?
She's Vinny's wife. I love her.
Okay, can I stop calling her Vinny's wife? What's Vinny's wife's name?
I plead the fifth.
What's Vinny's wife?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was just saying hi to everybody. Why don't they know her name?
See, are you going to see any of this on any other podcast out there? I mean, you're going to hear about like Ninja Turtles or the Rubik's Cube on other podcasts. You're going to see somebody's card collection they're selling on another. And you're not going to have this anywhere at all. And if you do, please direct us to that because I'd love to see it. So that's why you tune in every Tuesday night. You just don't know what conversations you'll be privy to.
FML. I'm running away. No, my wife does not need a segment on the show. She would run you all off. I promise you. That would be like asking the better half to be on the show too. I think we'd lose all our viewers. No offense. I mean that with the utmost respect. We love you. You know that. But they may end up censoring the show.
I was gonna say if they had their own show podcast thing, then
oh hell no. God help us.
we can end and their show could begin.
No, because by that time my wife may have had more to drink than me. So
that's all right. We're not part of it. That's if I had
but we'd
be washing our hands of the situation.
I couldn't. I live with this woman.
I know
Vinny lives with his wife. We'd have to be cautiously in the background, monitoring.
No. Take some NyQuil or some DQuil or whatever. Take a bump and then head to bed. Then in the morning you can see how long they went.
Hey, that could be interesting, to say the least. And Eric, I hate to say this, but I don't even know what to say. I'm at a loss for words to your response. I'm sorry. Ay. No, you wouldn't. My wife would pass out by then. I promise you. I promise you. That'd make for a long next day, let me tell you. Anyways.
That is correct. If you had a Benny Hill song in the background, like that at times. Go on, Foxy.
Long time no see. Time to go on mute again. My wife just came back in.
Does her sweatshirt say sassy? I see. I need to watch still. I know Vinny sent I think a clip of something, and I still haven't been able to watch. But I know I need to.
Kidney, thank you. Seriously, babe, get the fuck out of here. Yes, I dropped the F-bomb.
Do what I asked then.
I will take care of it. I love you. Go away. Thank you. Heaven help me.
I can still see you through the crack.
That's fine that you can still see me through the crack. Go away, you freaking weirdo. I feel you. Go. Remember, we are parents. I have eyes in the back of my head.
Clearly, because you knew every time I showed back up.
Yes, I... Go away. Jason, so to answer your question, I did see your question. I do have a few Portises in the collection. He was never a focal point. But with all the stuff going on with him and all the indictment and him pleading guilty to all the insurance fraud, it's when you're millionaires, why do you feel the need to cheat the system even more? But if you don't know how to manage your money and you blow through it, of course, you're going to find a way to try and compensate. But yeah, it's disappointing, but you know, he'll face the music, and that's the end of that. I mean, that's really the end of that whole story. He'll have to deal with it, and his name will be tarnished forever as it pertains to the game of football. At least he didn't do it while playing, I guess. But you know, at the same time, it's I think it's a sad situation because there's reasons why people would feel the need to do something like that, especially when you've made millions playing football. You know, you're a gifted athlete, and to get into a situation to where you feel like you need to cheat the system because you couldn't do what you needed to. Yeah, go read it. He's one of the masterminds of the big insurance scam. Yeah, crazy. Well, we haven't gotten that long, so we've been married for 11. We've been together for almost 16. So no, as a player, I thought he was phenomenal. I thought you were alluding to the issues that he's had outside of football. I'm sorry. So hey, I educated somebody. Go read up on it, and it's a dozen or so former NFL players that are named in the indictment, and I want to say he actually pled guilty, and he was one of the masterminds. I want to say it was also one of the Eagles running backs. I want to say Buckhalter, but I don't think that's right. So don't quote me on that. But yeah, go do a search for former NFL players or former NFL player insurance fraud.
Here's another tip of not invest in. Henry Ruggs. That's another one. Don't invest in him.
He just got arrested too, didn't he?
Yeah, killing someone.
Yeah.
That's don't invest in Henry Ruggs, the receiver. I'll say formerly of the Las Vegas Raiders. And then what makes this story even worse is in 2015 or 2016, I believe. In 2016. I don't know if it was a high school, one of his best friends in high school that remained close throughout college, and then, well, I guess he'd be still just starting college then, maybe. If he was a draft pick, a couple years ago? 2 years? So his best friend died from an impaired driver. To a DUI, DWI, whatever the case may be. And what was it, last night? Sunday night, one of the two. Driving his Corvette right in the back of somebody's Toyota RAV4, killed the woman. And it doesn't look like there's any leniency that'll be given to him. So I've never been in this position of I have more money and fame than I know what to do with. I know it's shocking. I mean, I hope everybody that's watching was sitting down when I made that statement. But it's always been said, why are you out after midnight? Why is it after 1? Nothing good ever happens when you're out that late. Nothing. You're not helping a little old lady across the street. You're not giving back to a charity, unless you're at the gentleman's club and there's somebody named Charity there. Then maybe you're you're giving to charity. But it's befuddling to me. You've got basically, again, a cliche, the world in your hands. And that's what you decide to do. It's like call an Uber. I'm sure the team has people hey, call one of these 10 people. They'll come and get you. And no, it's always, when you have that, it goes back to the entitlement factor, thinking you're above something, that you're like a Superman, you're indestructible. It's puzzling. So I don't know.
Yeah, sorry about that, Paul. There's tons of articles out there if you want to go check it out, and it names quite a few. Some names a lot of people who follow the NFL will be familiar with. Others, maybe not so much. But it's like a dozen or so or more.
Yeah, I'd say go to Google, type in Clinton Portis insurance scandal, and you're gonna have probably stuff from Denver, stuff from down in Florida, some sort of business like a Wall Street Journal, which I'm sure is the same way. But I'm sure you'll have some sort of avenue where you can find the name. Come on, Paul.
Sometimes it is, though. There's a lot of news publications out there. You get so many free views or whatever, and then all of a sudden, pay me to read my news articles. No, kiss my butt. I'll pass.
Yeah.
I didn't need to read it. I didn't need to read yours specifically. I'll go find another one.
Yeah, the information's out there.
So, yeah. But to go back to your actual question, Jason, I think he was a special back. I won't put him up at, like upper echelon. He was no Terrell Davis. He was no Emmitt Smith. He was no Barry Sanders. But the kid was good. The kid had talent. And honestly, when they traded, we're going to keep him in timeout for a little bit. He deserves to stay in timeout for whatever reason because he's late. I was disappointed when mute your mic. We don't want to hear you. Just kidding.
Is it in the shore of Lake Erie or what?
Anyways, so it was unheard of for trading a running back for a cornerback. Usually you traded offense for offense, defense for defense. I mean, not that is like an unwritten rule, but that's typically when you dealt with trades, that's what you normally would think of. You don't give away an offensive weapon who actually scored 5 touchdowns in a game for a cornerback.
Mm-hmm.
An aging cornerback, I hate to use that term, but to a degree, he was aging when they actually traded for Champ Bailey. In the end of the day, we got the better end of the deal, in my opinion, because Champ was a mainstay in Denver for a long time. And, having a shutdown corner, that's a must in the NFL, more so now than even what it was then. Mm-hmm. But to have a shutdown corner, that was a big deal. And, having Champ come in, and this still hurts, having Darren Williams on the other side, Denver had a hell of a secondary. And I could only imagine what that team would have been like if Darren Williams wasn't killed.
Mm-hmm.
That kid was phenomenal and only got better as he played. That hurt. Darren Williams hurt. We are not going to talk about Von Miller, so please nobody bring it up. That is a sore subject for me right now, and I am utterly pissed. But I don't want to get into it. So we can save that for another evening of topic of conversation. But that one is really boiling my blood. And I'll leave it at that. No, Portis and Gore did not play together. Portis was drafted by Denver in 2002. Frank Gore was drafted by San Francisco in 2005. I
think of McGahee.
Portis got traded to Washington 2004 or 2005, I think, in that time span. So, yeah, and Portis stopped playing after so many seasons with Washington. I don't remember how many seasons he played with them, but so. Who is this we speak of? I'm not familiar with this Brady Tom person.
Oh, damn you, Swan.
Just thought I'd throw that out there. Yes, it's raining, babe. You're not going to melt.
I might.
You're sweet and all, but you're not that sweet. There's a little bit of vinegar in that blood. I think you're good. I at least didn't say oil.
We need to have another conversation. I know you're on your podcast. Boss just called me again.
Un momento.
No, don't even mute it.
I'm muting.
They might give you input. Don't mute it. So boss just called me again.
Which boss?
Nathan. The one that's trying to get me to take the client service manager position.
Yes, for something that you have no interest in.
I have no interest in it. He said, I'd like you to reconsider. I said, I'd like you to hear my husband's input on this. I was like, I have no desire to do it. And he said, I really think you could benefit from it. I said, you think I can benefit from it financially? I don't care about the financials.
So you need to tell Nathan to call me. Nathan and I can have a conversation.
He keeps calling me about taking this position. I don't want it.
Tell Nathan we need to talk.
I'm starting to kind of be concerned. Should I I get it's an extra like 30 grand a year.
Yes, but it's not always about the money. We've had this conversation.
Miserable.
Tell Nathan we need to talk.
Please don't tell boss that I should take it and I'll be miserable.
I want to hear his side, and so I can speak to him from our side's perspective in a different way. Okay?
So even if y'all agree, I can still deny the job and not take it?
It's not my decision at the end of the day. It's still yours.
No, it's not. It's ours because
No.
it's our livelihood.
No.
We're talking about more money.
No. Money does not, money is not the answer to everything, though, Ben.
It's not, but we're still talking about our livelihood, our debt, everything else. Like,
Okay, so, okay, Ben.
I don't want to take the job, but
So for an extra 30K, tell them for an extra 40K a year, you'll take it and then I can retire.
an extra 40K, I was like thinking an extra 60K.
I'm trying.
Like, how bad do you want me for this position?
Let me talk to Nathan. Tell him I would like to have a conversation with him.
I'm tired of them hyping me up for a position that I know I'm qualified for, and your management fucking sucks.
We get that, Ben. Let me tell Nathan I would like to have a conversation with him.
I know about shitty management.
We all know about shitty management. Quit going off camera, Benny.
Yeah, stop laughing.
I'll put myself in timeout. There's nothing good that I can say that'll come from this.
Then I can put you in timeout.
His wife just put him in timeout. Okay,
Just run.
so, dude, it's gonna be cold. No.
Put on some shoes, babe. Seriously.
No, I'm in my boxers. I can't run and shoot. Shit.
All right, I missed half of the chat here, so I have no idea what was being said. It's like,
I think just encouragement, just words of encouragement.
so let's be real, folks. Money solves a lot of problems, but it also causes others. And my wife enjoys what she does for the most part. She has her moments like anybody else who, you're a 70-30 or a 60-40 type situation. There you go. Shut up, Vinny. That was courtesy of your wife, by the way.
That's what I'm doing.
It's one of those in which it's not about the money in this situation. It's opportunity, and it also comes with potential advancement opportunity. And, so that's the part that is more difficult for me to convince her to shy away from it. But the position itself is something she has no interest in at all. And although I think it could be beneficial for her if she chose to take it for a short amount of time, and if she chose to leave, could really give her a little bump as it pertains to experience elsewhere. But I also don't want my wife, I don't want her to go do something that she's going to completely and utterly hate doing just because it's X amount of money. This is not anything to do with the money.
Well, yeah, if you can have like a probationary period of like 6 months, like, hey, I want to see how this goes, whatever the job maybe I want it in writing that I can go back to my old job in 6 months. I'm like, I really, money's great, but you know what? The stresses of the job are just more than I care to deal with because I'm either just worrying myself to death, bringing it home, doing whatever. That's where.
See, this is why I wanted, and this is why I told her. Tell Nathan I want to have a conversation. I've been in corporate America too long. I know how to work it. I see. She's behind you, Vinny, by the way. I want to have the conversation. I want to know what the options are, what the opportunities are, and be able to have a conversation where it's like, okay, what's the backup plan?
Mm-hmm.
If for any reason she does it for 6 months and hates it, what's the options? Because sometimes my wife doesn't think about having those types of interactions and asking those questions.
Yeah.
Me, like I said, I've been in corporate America long enough where, I know how to work some of those conversations and have those conversations. Because at the end of the day, money is one thing. But, like I said, yeah, would it make things 10 times easier for us? Would it, kick my plan into high gear even quicker? Absolutely. But it doesn't, no, that's actually what it doesn't mean. Which is why you don't see a whole lot of things out of me. Because I have a plan. I have a financial plan, and it's being executed because I want to be in a situation to where if an opportunity does present itself to acquire something that's substantial, I don't want to have to feel like I'm trying to make sacrifices elsewhere in order to acquire something like that. So it's twofold. It's getting us out of debt, which is always a positive for anybody who, works for a living. Debt sucks. And sometimes, things happen and where you find yourself getting into debt. It happens. It's called life. It's called adulting, responsibility, kids, whatever. But, I have a plan. Oh, geez. I'm just going to sit here for a minute.
It's the appreciation. I appreciate you, bro.
I'm running away. Vinny, you're officially the new co-host of the IRP. I'm calling it an early retirement.
Well, your wife must have taken the job, so congrats.
No, I've always said, because, and I'm going to throw this out there, there are a lot of men in this world who would be upset if their wife made more money than them. Me, I said there are a lot of them out there. I was not referring to you or anybody else in this panel. But I know of a lot of people that would be very upset if that were the case. I've always told them, shoot for the moon, make $120K a year. Dad's gonna start being a stay-at-home dad. I'll clean the house, I'll cook, I'll clean, I'll do the dishes. I'll do it. I'm okay with that. I don't have a problem with that. At all. Zip, zero, zilch. But at the same time, I'd probably still get bored and have to do something, so I'd probably still have to work. Because I would get bored. I feel like I have to be doing something. and C's about to have her arm ripped off. This has been an interesting evening. We haven't even got on the subject yet. It's been the Broncos wife show for part of it. Now we have C joining in on the fun.
Your mom's calling you.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Right.
Bye, guys.
See, I
Love you.
and that's awesome. I can at least say I'm not tooting my own horn by any stretch of the imagination. So when my wife had her son, she was a single mother for a few years until I kind of came into the picture. Scott was 4 when she and I met and then started dating. And I've been around ever since. So he's 20 years old. He turns 21 this December, okay? When my wife got pregnant with the other one, we had multiple conversations where she was like, I had to work. I was a single mom. I barely got to spend any time with Scott. I would really love the opportunity to be a stay-at-home mom for at least the first year. And I was like, okay, that's a fair request. Consider it done. So she got it was actually 18 months where she was a stay-at-home mom. She didn't have to worry about working. I took care of everything. And, I wanted to make sure that I gave that to her because she didn't get that opportunity with Scott. And, it still bothers her a little bit to this day. But, at the same time, you got to do what you got to do, right? Right. We'll eventually get to the subject, Paul. It just obviously won't happen until after the first hour.
It'll be flipped.
Yeah. We usually do really good, but this just happens to be because we had some interruptions. Thanks to my wife for the interruptions. I said only the first 18 months, better half.
Not permanently.
Don't jab it. Don't jab at him. And all the stuff had to fall into place. It's not like, there was a lot of stuff that had to fall into place in order for that to happen. Not to mention I was stuck living under the same roof with her mother and her brother and her nephew. Because that's the only way I could make sure I could take care of everything. So that was fun.
That way.
But anyways. Oh hell no, what? What? See? Just throwing that out there. Grass isn't always greener. I had to make sacrifices too. But it is one of those in which I tried my best to make sure that she had that. And of course, she's been working ever since. So, Vinny. Mr. Vinny. Smile.
Yes.
Stop shaking your damn leg. I hear it through the damn microphone. Usually I don't hear it when you're in there, but I heard it.
I'm more aerodynamic. I shaved off the beard.
Yeah, I thought about doing that, and I was like, I was running a little bit late. So normally you actually get clean shaven face for episodes, and yeah, I didn't get a chance to do that today. But it is Men's Health Month, no shave November. Of course, Dave's been doing that for 10 years. Just thought I'd throw that out there. That's not going to happen, Ty, because it's not her boss. She calls him boss because she used to work for him in the training department. So she's always called him boss because he's an EVP or he's way up there. But it's one of those in which she's always called him boss, even though she hasn't worked for him in 4 years, I think. So yeah, it wouldn't be that.
That's the original colors.
But then again, maybe I can get an extra 40 or 50K out of the deal, and then I'll have a harder time convincing my wife not to take it. That's like life changing. 30K, yeah, that's quite a bit, but you got to look at what tax bracket that puts you in and everything else. 40 or 50K, that may be a little bit harder of a one to turn down. Just throwing that out there.
This is true. So it's Bobby. That's which really threw me off about that bubblegum machine was it had the newer logo on the it had a newer Penguins logo on the bubblegum machine. It wasn't the old one. It was the older one. The Penguin was skinnier, and they actually had a Penguin for the first, I think, 2 years when they started the Penguins, and they bought one. It was from a warmer climate Penguin, and they had him on the ice, so he got pneumonia and died.
Huh.
It was I forget where the Penguin was from, but it's not a Arctic Penguin. So the thing got pneumonia and died. So that was a tidbit of information. What was the other one? Let's see. If you guys said why not black and orange or gold? Yeah. That's So the Winter Classic jerseys are actually truer to the old style of when can't think of his name. The former Penguin captain before Lemieux. And they had another guy, I can't think of his name. He was killed he died earlier or was killed in an accident. I was watching the Penguins history story, and he could have been, right up there with Bossy and the rest of those guys in the 60s and 70s. So, yep. And LA Pats, yeah, that's when I'm at the card show, I like to buy a variety. There's so much stuff that's cool looking. It sort of harkens back to what Dave says. You kind of want to get an example of everything, so you have something to look at. So that's kind of what I do when I'm at the card shows. Get stuff that's out of the Lemieux line. Stuff that I normally wouldn't buy. I think I'm done, Dave. I can retract my soapbox. I just answering questions.
Well, that and too, we as we've said before, get something. If you get something in your hand that it's in the Lemieux line, you're like, okay, it's in the box, but I'm looking at it now and it's not something that's really
like that. Look at that. I paid 10 cents for that. That's out of this year's metal.
But I thought metal was supposed to be like an $8 billion a box. It's going to revolutionize hockey product.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Those are the regular prospect cards. That's just beautiful. I love that uniform. It's the old school Penguin uniform. Pierre Oliver Joseph. Rookie or rookie year type card. I love it. It's just, you find pretty stuff when you're looking out of your norm. Wow, that's something you don't hear too often. And thanks, better half.
L. I think that was a typo.
Get one of those LA Pats. They're like $10. Find all kind of goodness.
Yeah, better half. I was supposed to do that like 2 weeks ago because we talked about it on the after hours when Dave called it early, and it was just the two of us. So
Just the two of us. Working on that.
I don't know if you saw the comment though. Better half mentioned good placement, Dave. I think she's alluding to the jersey because it's right there on the couch. Or maybe it was something you said. I was just going off of, observation. Then again, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, so.
I think she was referring to that. I hope she was. Otherwise, I would have no clue what placement is being congratulated.
And why don't you talk about said piece real quick, Dave? Since only a few of us are aware.
So it's rare that you see, and again, not that I've looked, but rare for me to come across anything game used, especially in the hockey sense. So I got this little, which I was hoping for, because I've seen this before in one of the Facebook wild groups, like the authenticity there of a Dumba gamer.
That is so cool.
And then on the back, it's got some scuff, I think, on the tube. And then
I was asking if he got lucky and got some DNA. No DNA, unfortunately. No blood splatter.
no, so that one guy had a bunch of stuff up that was hoping would slip through the cracks, and unfortunately, none of it did, because there was a badass Pablo Bure from, I think, when they went from their more traditional logo that people remember to, I think it was a second logo, maybe an alternate logo. I was hoping to pick that up, and that thing went for a ton. I was gonna say it's more in that a different lane. So yeah, it was definitely something I know you would appreciate, Bobby. Not that you don't appreciate cards, but in the same sense, you're more often the not oddball, but the unique items or the forgotten items.
Just call it what it is. Use the right nomenclature, Dave. Come on.
The knick-knack, the trinket.
He already said it, so why not call it what it is? Bobby has accepted it. It's okay.
I suppose. But yeah, there was a Le Cavalier the guy had. There must have been like 3 other jerseys too, and I was like, if they stay cheap, maybe I'll try for them all. And I was like, that Dumba kept on ticking up. I'm like, well, that will be the one I look for, and that's going to be it, because everything else was going far too much. But you figure, if you get a replica jersey, that's anywhere. If you find one somewhere on sale, you don't even know what site. It could be like $100, up to like an NHL.com type site or Fans Edge. It's in like the 150 to 180 range. And so you're like, okay, I had my max set. The justification of like, okay, it's like a couple times more than that. And so I was able to win it for about that after shipping. What would have been my max bid overall, but with shipping and tax and all that stuff. But I'm happy because, again, it's not like these things are floating around in places that I'm going to see. I know they've got them in like the Hockey Lodge for the Wild, or some, like the Wild site has some stuff like that. I never go to that site. It's nothing that's programmed into me like eBay, stuff like that, where you're like, I gotta go look. So to see one on there, to have the seal.
Now we got better half trying to unmute and everything else. I tried to do that earlier because I was wanting to see if I could hear what y'all were talking about. It wouldn't let me since Vinny actually muted himself. It wouldn't let me unmute it. It's like, dang it.
What did he say?
I love you.
I love you too. Trouble.
I am not trouble.
I can't hear you because
trouble.
dumbass has
He
his
is not
headphones
trouble.
on. Oh, bullshit.
I'm hurt. I'm hurt. I'm gonna retire. I'm retiring.
We can find you and Vinny an island somewhere.
So, in other words, you really want to get rid of us? Okay.
Well, as long as your paychecks are still deposited, we're okay.
Well, that's great and wonderful, but I pay the bills in my house.
Well, Vinny doesn't, so.
Not anymore, I don't. Give them all to her here.
He's like tilted like a dork.
Because I'm looking at you.
Because he's a dork. It's okay. We're all dorks in our own way.
Goodbye, Vinny.
Goodbye.
She could have at least called you honey, sweetheart,
Vomit?
dear. Come on, better half. I've been around to where you haven't been just your normal self.
Okay, do I ever call him?
Call him
Honey.
You've expressed sentiments. You've expressed sentiments, and I'm not relating to asshole. That doesn't count. My wife calls me fucker, so it's or jackass. So I'm used to those type of sentiments, but I don't get that all the time.
Well, I thought that was your middle name.
No. No. It is not.
Anthony, don't act like you're like all hard ass.
Look at the stare.
Seriously? You're awfully brave on camera.
That's why. That's why.
He's got witnesses, Meredith. That's why.
It doesn't matter. You do really think I'm afraid of witnesses. You know me well enough, Steve.
I do.
You will
I
never.
love you both.
There is never another podcast out there that you're going to get this kind of entertainment for free.
Yeah, we should be charging a hell of a lot of money for this.
I'm going to burn every card in this room.
Okay.
No, you're not.
Watch me.
I love you.
You.
Tell her you love her. I'm sorry. You were right. I was wrong.
Yes, dear.
See, you got. Hey, you got one.
No, you don't understand. Yes, dear is like. Yeah,
You're gonna
yes,
get it.
dear,
Yeah,
that's not work.
yeah. You're gonna get it later. Yes, we know.
Yeah.
We know how it all works. We know how it works.
I hear her upstairs now, so I'm safe.
No.
Does
Briefly.
anybody out there have the fake holiday of Sweetest Day where you live?
That's a no.
So
That's a no. That's a no everywhere but where you live.
Yeah.
Just from
So there's this made up holiday. It's like Valentine's Day, but it's in the middle of October. They call it Sweetest Day. So when I moved here, they're like, "Hey, happy Sweetest Day." I'm like, "What's Sweetest Day?" It's basically another day to give gifts to your wife other than Valentine's Day. So she finds a box of cards at Target, so she brings them home and happy Sweetest Day. And I'm like, well, thanks. Well, where's mine? And I'm like, I don't believe in this made up holiday. So for 4 hours, she reminds me that I didn't get her anything for Sweetest Day. So I went downstairs and I have a stash. 5 boxes. They were hanger boxes. It's not like they were hobby.
It doesn't matter. It's the thought that counts.
I suppose.
Benny, I'm trying to help you out here.
There's no helping me. There's no helping me.
I'm trying, damn it. I'm trying.
So I like to plan early, and I get her Christmas presents ahead of time, and I stuff them down here in a shelf where she can't find them because she ruins every present because she has no patience whatsoever. So I was able to strategically hide this in between my shirts in the closet in front of me, so she couldn't find it. So she harped on me for 4.5 hours about not getting a present. So I just went in there, grabbed it, and threw it at her and said, "Here, happy Sweetest Day." It's also apparently a thing in Ohio, too. So, Brad, if you could confirm that, I'd be appreciated. But
He knows you're still there, better half.
yeah, I know. You're lurking. I don't trust her. So I was able to find this after a long search. So if anybody knows my wife, she was Michigan runner-up softball back in the day, and she wore number 13. So that's Mr. Lance Parrish.
Oh, I was going to say don't say anything. I was going to see how many people actually knew who that was.
Well, with his name right there, I would hope you would know.
That doesn't mean anything.
This is true. So
Could have been Mark Parrish.
yeah, Dan Parrish, Bobby Parrish, Paul Parrish, Dave Parrish.
He had a kid, Larry, wasn't it?
Possibly Curly and Mo Parrish. So That's how I get out of trouble at my house. JSA certified and all that stuff. So
Yes, but your wife also buys stuff early too. The only problem is she just can't keep holding on to it.
No, not a chance.
no.
Wear your gloves. Stop touching it. Ay, ay, ay.
I'm waiting for the check from the OnlyFans.
Only one box of gloves then. Okay.
Mm.
One pair there. You get the 2 gloves, 1 pair. That's it.
We have low expectations.
Well, let's set the bar at the bottom rung, so if anything's above it, it's gravy.
This is true.
If it's below it, it's just brown and water. So
This is true. This is true. Well, this has been interesting. It's been an interesting evening, to say the least.
That it has.
Hopefully everybody's enjoying themselves. Welcome to the glimpse of the life of Vinny and Steve. Dave doesn't get the interruptions. He's smart, at least right now. His girl lives an hour and a half away or something.
I don't know if it's smart because I miss her and I want to see her, but we stay in contact most of the time through either text or phone calls. Maybe a couple of nights, so she'll go through her day. I'll rant about how shitty my day was, and then
Except for Tuesday. Those conversations are usually short, right?
Yeah, she usually got about the 6 to 7 o'clock window. And she'll always wonder, well, you can have after talks or not. I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea. I always say, if I could predict the future, I wouldn't have to do a podcast. I wouldn't have to work at my job. I would be making hand over fist, money over hand over fist, and I wouldn't have to worry about it because I could predict the future.
We still may have the podcast.
Probably.
You just have to, start doing your, flexclamation points with all your Gretzky rookies and your LeBron exquisite RPAs that you paid, $2.2 million for.
Oh, I know. That would be the...
Of course, then again, Dave, we already know you have them. They're in the warehouses. We already know this. You just haven't bothered to break them out yet.
No,
we're just waiting. We're anxiously waiting.
I don't want Ken Golden messaging me or all these other lower tier wannabe influencer type people that think they've got they've climbed that chain of the hobby hierarchy, and they haven't. There is none.
Right on cue. It never fails.
Something has to trigger Carlos, and I figured the warehouse. I'm like, that's gotta. You could see my warehouses from the moon.
Only the moon? Not from Jupiter or Pluto or...
I didn't say our moon. I might have meant Saturn's moons.
Touche. I'll give you that, Dave. I'll give you that. You missed some interesting conversation pieces, Carlos. I can only imagine what that sounded like at 2 times speed.
I believe it would have been interesting.
To say the least. You notice he put that in quotation marks.
I did. That's how I was thinking of it when you said it too. Doing air quotes.
So should we actually finally get to the topic?
I don't want to revert to like about a year ago when we started we had like a run of I think 3 or 4 episodes in a row. We had a topic and then we didn't even get to it. Or we'd start like right at the end and we'll get to it next week and didn't do it. Then the next week, we got to it a little but not really much, and then catching shit from everyone. You didn't even get to the topic again. Well, okay. Now we have to if we're running on a month of promising about talking about something, and better get to it. So
What's interesting, though, is that was what we did frequently back in the day. And yet everybody kept coming back. I guess maybe we need to revert back so we can start having cliffhangers and maybe we'll get more people. Nah, probably not. Probably won't work that way.
So musically, I know it'll be since Vinny, most of the time when you're on the road going to these card shows, like the family thing, you're going to like a game of C's or a tournament of C's, so it's not you riding solo. It's either with you and her or you, the better half, and then C are on the vehicle too. So I gotta imagine that it wouldn't be what I'd be playing most of the time. No 90s rap, no early 2000s rap, no just like booming bass. and does the music, because it's something you don't, I just, in my limited listening to anything, I haven't heard it discussed. And it's something why you'd not talk about it when, again, people travel to shows, people travel wherever, people sort through cards. Not everybody wants to listen to dull interviews or listen to somebody else sort through cards while they're sorting through cards. It just, you need something to keep that motivation going. Like I said earlier, like a Pantera, a Slayer, a Slipknot, Five Finger, Metallica, Megadeth, Avenged Sevenfold, something where you're not gonna like doze off, not Kenny G. Which, again, you can listen to that too if that's something that helps you concentrate instead of like getting into the music too much. That could be a problem too. But at the same time, you don't want to listen to like NPR or the McLaughlin Group or the McLaughlin Hour while you're sorting through cards. I mean, not the old white men that are rich. That just doesn't, talking about like hedge funds and whatnot. It's, no, I want to listen to something fun, something that maybe you don't get to listen to all the time too, just because of daily life. So is there anything, Vinny, since you're the one that's talking about, like, in our text, like, oh, we went to this and we go to these tournaments. So again, you're Willie Nelson. You're on the road again. So is there anything in particular, or is it have to be a mishmash of stuff to sort of appease all entities in the car?
It has to be a mishmash because my music preferences are not even relatively close to that of the wife. So she prefers 90s hip hop and pop, where I prefer 90s and 80s and 70s and 50s rock and roll, metal, even the occasional doo-wop. You know, so my last concert was Alice in Chains and Guns N' Roses. So that pretty much tells you my taste in music. So I have Sirius satellite radio. So when we're going back to visit my folks in Pennsylvania, I like to find, Ozzy's Boneyard and those kind of stations when the Detroit channels flicker out.
Mm-hmm.
Where I'll listen to country music, but C doesn't care for country music. She did, and now it's not her cup of tea. Like when we go to games, she likes the Imagine Dragons, so she'll crank those. She loves Michael Jackson, so she'll listen to Michael.
Skillet.
Yeah, she does like Skillet. Yeah, it's true. In the car, if she's awake, we gotta listen to her stuff. But when she falls asleep, that's usually when we get the run of the radio. And then my particular channels are always like alternative and heavy metal stuff. And then I'll compromise and put like the 80s and 90s channels on and listen to those because I get some of my songs, the wife gets some of her songs, and it's there. But like for me, when I travel for work, it's all like when I'm flying into Minneapolis, St. Paul, I turn up Volbeat and I play Seal the Deal. It's my landing song. So I just crank it as high as I can go, and we're descending, and I'm just gearing myself up for 2 weeks of fun and mayhem in the cities. So that's usually my song. And then when I'm there, it's the one there. I stay at a hotel that has a bar and restaurant at the Holiday Inn. And the bar, I know all the bartenders, I know a lot of the staff, and we crank the jukebox a lot. So Copperhead Road's played a lot. That's one of the local songs. Not so much Metallica. I like the older Metallica, not the newer stuff. So anything before the Black Album and back. But I like Alice in Chains. I like Guns N' Roses, Volbeat, Pantera. I think that's why I have an iPhone, because I have all my music on there, and I bought an iPod before. I don't know if you can even buy an iPod anymore. And I loaded that thing with music, and I just crank it. And I have a little, somewhere around here is a wireless speaker, and I'll just hit the button, and while I'm working, I'll crank metal music to the level that my wife can't hear it upstairs now, since she works upstairs. But for me, it's usually metal. And then I'll go, Sinatra. I'll go Sammy Davis Jr., Dean Martin, 50s doo-wop, because my dad loves doo-wop music. So I listen to that. Old CCR, Motown. I like Lionel Richie and I can't think of his name. Could see him.
Smokey Robinson.
Smokey Robinson. Yep. So I love the smooth. Their voices are just smooth, and I don't know, something about that old music. I enjoy it. And sometimes I'll throw Andrea Bocelli on there and let him operatic my brain to where it has to go. So, and then Sarah McLachlan, when I couldn't sleep when I was younger, I turned that kind of music on. Joel, Mazzy Star. So I'm dating myself to the 90s. And I would just let that melodic stuff just when I couldn't sleep. Lucky if I got 4 hours. Back in my heyday of running wild.
Most everybody knows we're in our 40s, Vinny.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there. It's not like it's not front page news or nothing.
And I do not listen to Barry Manilow.
Are you dogging Barry Manilow? How dare you?
No, but he's not my cup of tea. But to each their own, as they say.
Don't you mean he's not your cup of Mountain Dew?
No.
Yeah, everybody's wide range when it comes to I know some of the 50s, 60s stuff. It's not something that I turn on to frequently, or into the 70s. I can listen to it, but it's not my genre of choice, or decades of choice, I should say. I grew up listening to country because that's what my grandparents or my grandmother and my mom listened to. I had my my run of gangster rap, Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and Two Live Crew and NWA and all those fun groups of that era. What can I say?
Yeah.
I have no explanation other than the fact that somehow, shape, form, or fashion, I enjoyed it for whatever reason at the ripe old age of 12 and 13 years old. Prime ages to be listening to that kind of music, right?
I didn't even dive into that area because Tupac and Biggie. I love Biggie. He was big when I was in high school, and then I got into 50 Cent after that because I guess I'm a purist about the rapping. I don't know. It's just like 50 Cent, Biggie are probably my two favorites. I listen to Tupac. I was never big into Dre and Snoop a bit, but I like Wu-Tang Clan. My buddy was huge in the Wu-Tang Clan, and he always was playing Wu-Tang Clan. So, and then Outlaw Country, Willie Wayland, those
And
guys.
the boys.
Yeah. So
See, George Strait is still my all-time favorite country musician.
I love George Strait.
That's the one country artist I wish I actually would have paid to go see in concert. Now that he's, of course, retired, I can't very well do that. I listened to Vanilla Ice too because it was the era. A lot of people, I hate people listen to it because they played the crap out of that stuff. Let's be real. But I went from the gangster rap to, I'll call it what it is. It was gangster rap. That's what it was. To the R&B of the early '90s, just because that was the thing. Because of a lot of the people that I hung out with, and it wasn't until I got into high school to where my music genre shifted to rock and heavy metal. And I've never deviated since then. Like I said, I can still listen to country music because I grew up on it. It's not that I hate it. It's not that I despise it. I can still listen to it. But I like the older stuff. The stuff that they have now is not country music, in my opinion. It just not the same. So, but for me, I wish I could listen to music when I work, but I'm on call so much that that's kind of a moot point. But if I'm doing a whole lot of testing and stuff along those lines, I'll definitely put in the earbuds and crank up some tunes. But it's like you said, Dave. I mean, it's Slipknot, Pantera. You know, it's Avenged Sevenfold, Bullet for My Valentine, all those type of bands, because it gives me that motivation, I guess. And if I happen to listen to music when I'm sorting, which is very few and far between these days, sometimes I'll listen, sometimes I won't. I usually use music as a motivator, but there are certain times in which it's far beyond music to get me motivated to sort. But of course, when I'm in my car, it's always my music. And the nice thing about it is you know my kiddo likes a lot of the same music that I do. Uh, they're actually more eclectic than what I am. They love the Beatles, uh, Blackbird being one of their favorite songs of all time. And a lot of people don't know the song because it's a B-side track, but it's a phenomenal song, at least in my opinion. Uh, but I mean, they go deeper into some of the like Carlos kind of into the subgenres and everything else that are kind of out there, which kind of complicates the whole music scene. You know, you go back in our days, you know, early on, you had your R&B, your pop, your rock, country. You had your rap at that point in time, but you know, then of course you had your techno. Can't forget your techno.
Alternative stuff too. I mean, you had
Yep.
Pistol and Smashing Pumpkins and Temple of the Dog, Stone Temple Pilots. I mean, it was
Nirvana.
the rock that we're used to listening to in the '80s, even more so in the '70s. It was just like new stuff. It's like, oh, Nirvana. I mean, it's Smells Like Teen Spirit. Yeah, that's got some whiffs of the rock in there, but it's again a lot more mellow when it starts and when the hook doesn't hit. It's the verses
But
are
on the flip side of that, yes, you can call it alternative, but on the flip side, you could call it grunge though too. So
then you start splitting hairs about what is it? It's good music.
yep.
Yeah, there's so much that I could everything I can listen to at least for a little while. I know two videos up on YouTube. One's tag team. Boom, there it is. One is Celine Dion, To Love You More. Singing those both. When I was over in the Philippines in 2006, there was one station I could pick up, and the same thing I sort of did with like the Beckett's. They had a couple racing ones, and I was more into trying to pick up some racing stuff card wise then. So they had like a checklist of all the stuff. So I'm writing all this stuff down in notebooks, and I listen to classical, like the Beethoven type. It's not opera. It's just like the classical scores. And I can listen to that because my dad listened to that all the time when he was doing the woodworking when we were knee high. So I always had that ability to listen to it. It's not like I'm going to go search it out and want to listen to it all the time. But in the same breath, it's like something I can listen to. Then I can go listen to Celine Dion, more of her older stuff. Even like the Titanic, where it's like, oh man, that's been overplayed. That's overplayed. It's like, yeah, that's correct. It has been overplayed, but it's still a good song.
I was going to say though, a good song is a good song, regardless if it's played 50 million times.
And it's not 2000 or it's not 1997 or 96 anymore. So I mean, it's not being played on the radio every hour on the hour. The rap, that was pretty much what ruled my musical roost for a number of years. When it was younger, like I said, radio, whatever dad played, because he usually drove. That was whatever local stuff, a lot of country, a lot of like older. Again, I got Gordon Lightfoot in the picture. I love Gordon Lightfoot. I can listen to pretty much anything of his. Simon and Garfunkel, love them. Trying to think who else from that era. Again, the Hank would be on. Yeah, that's something you can listen to too. Once we moved to Superior, again, and up here too, with the advent of like MTV, when you start seeing videos and like, okay, Dr. Feelgood comes on. Then you got like a Headbangers Ball program where Ricky Rackman's espousing about Skid Row, Slaughter, again, Megadeth. You have all these cool bands, Warrant, all these guys in that era where it's just like, man, yeah, Cherry Pie was great video, great eye appeal, even as a youngster. But Uncle Tom's Cabin was a far superior song, and I know they had a ballad too. I don't know if it was "I Will Remember You" or who had that one, but Skid Row.
Let's grow.
Skid Row had 18 in Life. That was against Sebastian Bach. Guns N' Roses had all their videos. That was and probably always will be my favorite rock group, because I've heard people complain, well, Axl's fat, Axl's voice. Well, you know what? After 40 years of screaming, try it. You're not going to be the same either, but the way he looked.
Detroit was their first concert back in the United States. They played 2.5 hours and they killed it. I skipped my high school reunion to go to that thing.
Nobody wanted to see you anyway.
I know nobody wanted to see me anyway. That's besides the point, better half. But let me tell you, I missed them when I was in. Me and my buddy were supposed to go to them when they were touring with Metallica, and then there was the incident in Montreal, and they canceled the rest of the tour. I was waiting for 20 years to see them. Guess what? I went with my wife's ex-husband because he's the only other person that wanted to go. So I went with his best friend and my wife's ex-husband. So you want to talk about screwed up, but man, was that a freaking time and a half, because Alice in Chains opened for him. They you can't replace Lane Staley. You just can't. No. But he was epitome of a gravel voice that grabbed you and just he didn't let go. But those two voices of my childhood, Lane Staley, Axl Rose, and like you said, Sebastian Bach was with that high voice. It was Thank you. I mean, when they did their encore, it was 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It was, and when they ask you where you are, you're in the jungle, Detroit. That place went nuts because they were at the Lion. Yes, everybody was probably high, but that's besides the point.
Again.
It was at Lion Stadium. What's I don't even know what Lion. Ford Field. So it was Lion Stadium, Pontiac Silverdome. There we go, which is now an Amazon outlet. So I saw that this weekend. Thank you, love you. Good night. But it's like you said. I don't care what anybody says. To see Slash in person, and he just. I sit here and shake my head because they put on a show that's just electric from the minute it starts to the minute it ends. So,
And it just always amazes me too, where people expect him to be 25 again. It's like, look, everybody that's saying that, look in the mirror. Do you look like you were when you were 18 and 25? Oh, 98% of us can say no, not even close.
no.
So, but I remember GNR being huge as a youngster. Metallica, not too much until we moved to Superior. The Black Album came out. I think that first year we moved that summer, and then Enter Sandman came on. I'm like, holy shit. Here we go. This is good stuff. And then you'd start to see a little more of the old stuff. You'd have like one play on the Headbangers Ball or something from Ride the Lightning, something like old school Metallica, and then you're like, okay, I like this a little more, but it still was Guns N' Roses because they varied everything up so much. You went from Patience to Don't Cry to like Estranged, then You Could Be Mine playing a cover of that. Welcome to the Jungle. I mean, just everything that they played. And then Garden of Eden, something that was super fast paced that they've never played live because you just can't keep up with it. Mr. Brownstone. My favorite when they came back and him and Axl and Slash and a couple of guys reconciliated. I think it was then. They had Buckethead. Was the Sheckler's Revenge, which they've never played the 2 or 3 times I've seen them. Sheckler's Revenge and Estranged are probably my 2 favorite GNR songs. And then it starts going off into like the rap, more so in the rap. It's like, okay, yeah, you listen to like some Young MC and whatever way back when. Because Yo MTV Raps, I think that was on, I don't know if that was on Saturday night as well.
I can't remember.
But that was Saturday Nightmares time on USA. And then there was Alfred Hitchcock, and then there was The Hitchhiker, and then there was USA Up All Night. So Saturdays were set from 7 to like 2 a.m. So more rap, Snoop, Dre, NWA to a degree. I liked Ice Cube, but Biggie, Pac, Nas, Wu-Tang, I liked a bit. I like Mobb Deep a little more. Wu-Tang had just too many hands in the pot. When they started going off and like RZA, Jizza, Method Man, ODB, Raekwon, when they all started going off and doing their own thing, you could sort of find what turned your crank. It's like, okay, I like this. I like ODB's real grimy style. I love it, and it just then it started popping up with like No Limit, Masterpiece, Silk the Shocker, C Murder, Fiend, Mia X, Mystical. You had all these folks coming out, and it's a lot of it sounded the same, but a lot of it was so different than what you had heard, because a lot of this stuff had almost like the record tracking in the sounds of the song, so it sounded grimier and more, again, not so polished. This had a lot more effects sound wise. So that's a lot of the stuff I'd listen to. I was going to Virginia when I was starting to drive, going to card shows either in Virginia, Eveleth, or the rare one in Duluth. You'd listen, and I'd try to mix tapes then. So Missy Elliott was big then. Put her tape in. Nas, If I Ruled the World. Play Nas all the time because I love Nas. Then a couple years later, Jay-Z comes out. Cash Money. So you have BG, Big Timers, Lil Wayne, Juvenile, Birdman. And you start having that. Then you have Eminem. Then you have, when you said 50, then you got a whole new crop of people because you got Little John, the East Side Boys. You got Luda. I mean, you got so many different flows and so many, but you could understand the shit. It wasn't made up fucking garbled garbage. You could actually, if you chose to follow these guys and sing along or try to rap along, you could 80 to 90% accuracy at least know what they're saying. Now I don't even have a clue, and this is somebody that's listened to rap intently for a number of years, decades. Like Shine, one in the picture, Shine. His song "Bad Boys" is probably one of my top 3 rap songs of all time. Just because every time I hear it instantly I'm excited. Yeah, the mumble rap shit is just atrocious. I mean, this is where I wish Michael Myers would come through and just behead everyone. Just get rid. Post Malone would be the first one gone. There's not anyone I hate more on this earth than Post fucking Malone. And Trista will probably text me or message me or something because she enjoys some of the music, but I'm like, this guy literally looks, and he comes off as somebody that's recovered from drugs, says that he's doing well, but then you just turn around and he's got like pockets full of needles that fall out. I don't know where those came from. He looks and is the part of just somebody that is just trash.
His song with Ozzy is good though.
Nothing with him is good. Him losing his vocal cords is great.
Have you heard it?
I do not like to even begin to try to listen to it.
Just listen to it. I think you would be pleasantly surprised. I'm not a fan of Post Malone either. But the song with Ozzy is good.
And then, but yeah, there's him. Who else? There's that X-Nation or whatever. That dude died, thankfully. God, there's somebody else.
Tell us how you really feel, Dave.
None of these fuckers, there's no talent there. The beats are literally all the same. A minimalist beat, maybe 15 to 20 words total that are different in the song. No story being told. Again, you don't have Scarface. You don't have him rapping, and the Ghetto Boys, and you can fucking picture my mind's playing tricks on me. You have a visual. Not somebody, I got a new car, dumb bitch, suck dick. It's like, wow. really putting it out there, making me think. Thank you. And it's, again, something that we haven't heard for 30 years. The same shit. SOS. Same old shit. So that stuff, garbage. All those people, they're in the burn pile to 2020 tops. Gone. It's you'll, because if another one of the guilty pleasures is watching the Billboard. There's one channel on YouTube, and I'm sure there's a billion of them, but it's like every Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday, puts out like the Billboard, and it goes with the subgenres. There's like the radio, here's like the adult, contemporary or whatever. Here's hard rock, rap, country. Here's like a top 100 US. Here's a top 100 Canada. Here's a top 50, I think, Australia, and top 200 global. And I'll listen to like 3 or 4 of them, usually the rock, the rap, the country, and then like the top 100 US, because maybe there's something that slips through the cracks. And there's so much of that trash. Drake, garbage. Drake is fucking trash. There's a couple songs that he has that are okay. There's one with Future from a couple years ago I love, because the beat is fucking immaculate. And Future raps mostly on that part. Not a huge Future fan, but that this is correct. You can't throw up the W without getting shot. Like, I just miss rap where the story was told. It was a story that was interesting. I mean, you're going to have everybody that has the same thing. Yeah, you suck some dude's dick, and there's some chick sucks a dude's dick in somewhere in like a Maserati in whatever, Paris. That's your fantasy rap about it, whatever. But I do like the Eminem stuff where, again, it can be versatile. It's not just same shit. Like Mockingbird, good song. The ripping off or the dubbing or whatever they call it, the sampling of the chick from Germany and the Toy Soldiers. Good song.
Martika.
Stuff like that, where again, at least you're doing something intelligent. And there's stuff on that top 100 or top 25. I know the beat. I've heard it from the 90s, and it's nothing worth even saying on the record. So I digress. But yeah, a lot of the rap up until mid 2000s, I'd constantly listen to that. I think the last stuff that I was like buying when I was buying CDs all the time. The second concert I went to, Soulja Boy. But that again, it was just some of that stuff is nonsense, but it's got a good beat. Sing with it. That's fine. Them Franchise Boys. Simplistic beat. So a lot of it was with that snap and pop garbage. But it was something different. And you could understand them. That's always the key. If I can't understand you, what am I doing listening to you? It musically, it doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, I want to be able to understand what you're saying, whatever you're rapping about, whatever you're singing about. I don't need hidden meanings and nonsensical gibberish. If I wanted to do that, I'd just listen to one of my videos. I'd talk into the mic, I'd record, and then I'd just listen back. More so over the last, 10 years, more, I'd say like the alternative, the Weezer, live. It can be rock and alternative, I guess, would be System of a Down. Especially the early stuff. Slipknot, I've been to they're constant. I don't know what 3-4 times now. Disturbed. That's another one. You can pretty much put on any of their first, I think, 3 CDs and just play. That's stuff I like to listen to, especially on the road, just to keep awake when you're driving. But a lot of country over like the last year, a lot of it. I mean, it's just stuff that I know from the past, stuff that I don't think I appreciated as much in the past. Not like the Garth Brooks stuff. He's got a lot of stuff that I'm like, wow, I didn't know this was him. I didn't know this was him. Say that all the time. Some old Colin Ray that I enjoy. Newer stuff, there's some out there that I don't mind. Morgan Wallen would be the first one. Tristan and I listen to him constantly. That's what I got. Or something she got me for my birthday was his 2 CDs. One was a double one, and then one a couple years ago. And then Luke Combs, he's got some nice stuff too, but he sounds like he screams a lot. But he's got a couple songs that I like. One's with Jameson Rogers. Is it cold beer calling my name? And again, that's nothing that you sit there and you're like, wow, this is earth-shattering music, or how they arranged it. It's just something when it gets stuck in your head for whatever reason, when you're mumbling it at work, or when you're in the middle of a conversation, you start mumbling it. What was that? Oh, I just have that song in my head. I don't know why. It's not like I put it on repeat, but at the same time, you hear it a couple times. You see it on this countdown. It's like a 4-second clip of like the song, and they go on. So I'm sure it's not to get the copyright infringement in there. So you listen and you're like, okay, I sort of like what I hear. Then you look up the video and watch it, and you're like, oh, ain't bad. But then stuff too, like Ed Sheeran, that's a concert I want to go to, because now he's starting to build up a pretty decent catalog of stuff that I really like a lot. And I mean, it's because he incorporates a lot of like the instruments in there too, or it just sounds that way. Maybe it's all that produced, but I mean it's a lot of melodic stuff. And it's not like the screaming or I need to be in your face. You can just sit there. I don't drink wine, but you can have those lights dimmed, glass of wine, an old fashioned or whatever. You got to had a hard day at work, put on some Ed Sheeran, and you just sit there and relax. And he's not going to sit there and just like scream and scream. And I want to be noticed, like people who post on Instagram. So going to a show, it just depends. Most of the time now, if it's country. I'm just looking for older stuff that it'd be a song or two I liked. Like way back, like On the Road Again, that was my dad's song. When anytime that would be on, he'd be singing that when we'd be on road trips. Elvis, all his Elvis stuff. It's Elvis. There's very few bad Elvis songs. Johnny Cash, again, it gets played a lot though. That's the only thing. But it's not like the stuff today where it's played all the time. I can listen to like Walk the Line, Ring of Fire, Boy Named Sue, I don't want to listen to it all the time. It's something where you have to be sort of in that mood. Johnny Cash mood. I'd say early Blake Shelton. I think I scared the shit out of Trista when we came back from wrestling in North Dakota, and it was like 1:30. And Austin came on, and I turned it up and like, oh! And she just about fucking went out the roof.
One of his best songs.
I the reason I liked it, I don't like to remember it, but the reason I love it is because that song, that first, like, the strumming of that guitar, and I'm just like instant, like, chills, because it's when Blake Shelton was likable. Now, not so much. But that would be one reason I'd go to his concert. I'd want to see that played. So I could probably cry there because I love that song that much. And I'd probably be just like, my goosebumps would have goosebumps because it's a song that, again, it used to mean more in one sense, but you still remember that time in what you got through. That makes any sense. So it's important in that regard, and it's just a good song. Because at that time, that I was brought into country, not that I wanted to be in it, but there's a lot of stuff then, like Joe Nichols. I love Joe Nichols. Steve Azar. He's got a song "Waiting on Joe." That's a tearjerker too.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think, some Travis Tritt stuff's real good. Trace Atkins has some decent stuff. Get away from like the honky tonk, badonk, stupid shit like that. Which again, it's all fine and good for the dance floor, but in certain genres too, you look for certain types of songs. If I'm wanting to feel something, if I need to get tears out, I'm going to my country library because I know there's going to be something in there that gets me going. If I just want to get aggression out, Slipknot, Five Finger Death Punch, those are the two main ones. If I just want to listen to good rock, it's going to be Guns N' Roses. If I just want to listen to good music, it's going to be Sheeran, Lightfoot, Simon and Garfunkel. And if it's this country of today, it's usually just Morgan Wallen. We just put the CD in and listen to it twice and go to the next one and same thing. And because I don't sort cards, that's something I need to do. And it's not like it's a tough job, but at the same time, you have to have I need to do this. I'm going to go. And then it's just like, like I'll pass on sorting, even though I got the boxes and I got like 25 more of the graded 2 rows. So I've got the necessary stuff, but I just don't have the necessary motivation. But yeah, that would be stuff I'd listen to. Just if I could put it together, some Pandora unique station, it would be insane with the wide variety of stuff that you could put on there. Adele, that's another one too. I love a lot of Adele's stuff. Backstreet Boys, I'll listen to that. Some NSYNC. Again, some of that stuff where you completely shit on it at the time because I was like, what the hell is this? Like the Backstreet's Back. The video helps when they're all like the Halloween get-ups. I like that. I'm sure I'm missing about 800 things, but it's like there's a lot of stuff out there to like. Again, none of us are going to agree 100%, especially with like my choices of just like picking from random spots in the forest. But, it's always a mood thing too. I mean, if you're just like, yeah, I need to do this, or I'm going here, and it's okay. I just want to go to the show. I don't even care if I find anything. I just want to look at cards. I don't care. Maybe you're just turning whatever it is up to 50 and then listening. Sometimes you just want it to be okay. Going to the National, I don't want to get that hyped because it's going to be a long weekend, or whatever the case may be. Maybe it's a little more mellow, and maybe it's a radio so you can hear commercials between, just so you can like mumble to yourself or do whatever. So, was that like a 30-minute monologue there or what?
Yes, it
We're
was.
just waiting.
You span multiple genres. So it's one of those in which you can go off of multiple tangents based on, what you're inclined to at the time, so to speak.
Yeah.
I'm a lot more simplistic, I guess. I listen to country, like I said, when I'm in the car with my wife because she can't stand my music, which is fine. I don't expect her to. But, it's one of those in which, like I said, I can listen to it, but I prefer the older stuff. A lot of the newer stuff, as I alluded to earlier, to me, it's not country. It's when you grow up with George Strait and Garth Brooks and Vince Gill and Keith Whitley and all of those type of artists, Alan Jackson.
The
It
Statler
just
brothers. Remember
Alabama.
them?
I remember them.
Loved them.
Alabama, Brooks and Dunn. A lot of the guys in groups from even the Judds.
Yep.
All of that span of country music, that is in my mind what country music is. Although it's not, you have to go back earlier with Charlie Pride and all of those guys.
Conway
Twitty. Yep.
Hello, darling.
But it's one of those in which that's the kind of country music that I grew up listening to. So to me, that's always what I have ingrained in my mind of country music. And a lot of the newer stuff, I don't want to call it rockabilly because that's more really Elvis, honestly.
Stray Cats.
What was that?
Stray Cats. Remember the Stray Cats? That was
Can't say I knew that. If you played some
that
if you played some songs, then I may. But it's the newer stuff. Just is it's not, to me. It's not country music. Call me crazy. It just doesn't have the same look, feel, and sound as it did when I grew up listening to it.
That was the Judds. Call me crazy.
So,
yes, Bobby, gotta rock this town. Stray Cat Strut.
yeah, I remember it's sort of like that, and again, it was a little later on, but like the Brian Setzer stuff. More of that like swing type, the poodle skirts and like the all that, sort of like what the Grease dancing was in the movie, like that type of stuff. Two other rap groups from the 90s that always have to have it. And again, Vanilla Ice, same thing. Listen to him still to this day. Again, the one song, but I liked it. I liked it then. I like it now. Gerardo with Rico Suave. MC Hammer. I love MC Hammer. I will always love MC Hammer. And it will always be Hammer. It will not be Hammer, MC Hammer. But Bone Thugs and Harmony, Do or Die, / Twista. Twista came along later on. Yeah, it's just the old school country was great. Kenny Rogers. I can listen to Kenny Rogers pretty much all day. His voice, his storytelling ability. Again, anytime the Gambler comes on, that's everybody better shut up. I'm listening to it. I don't care what you're saying. This is unplayed. Doesn't matter. You listen. So
yeah, I can still listen to it because I grew up on it. So Willie was mentioned earlier. Vinny
Yeah,
mentioned Willie Nelson earlier.
On the road again. Everybody loves that. I love that.
When I was in my brother's wood shop, it was Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings, Johnny Cash, Chris Christopherson, all the old country music. And that's what he would listen to like in the morning. And then in the afternoon, he'd switch it out to heavy metal and rap music. And then in the holidays, they would play nothing but Sinatra and Dean Martin and Sammy Davis Jr., like their holiday stuff. And it's one of my vivid memories of helping him when he worked at his shop.
Another one, Josh Groban. Again, phenomenal voice. That's the guy I'd love to see too, because again, he's got some of that stuff with the Pavarotti, with the not the opera types, but it's spoken or sung in Italian. So I don't know what he's saying, but again, if you're getting goosebumps from it, I'm expecting some way somehow. And then another one that when Trista had, I don't know how many years ago this was, but had a thing at work, like a pool or whatever, for the voice. And I think I watched the first episode or first couple, and they had must have been the first, and nobody else had picked this guy, and it said he's gonna win. It's not even gonna be close at the end, and that was Jordan Smith, a bigger dude, and his rendition of like, and again, it sounds the same, and I know it's two different songs. It's like the Green Sleeves Christmas song, and I know they do some other tune or the lyrics for it, but we're going to see him in about a month. And it was a whopping $10 per ticket for that. So there's so much out there. And I like to have that well-rounded just because there is so much. I don't like my thinking when I was a teenager where I was like, I just want to listen to rap. That's all I want to listen to. Like before we moved back from Superior to here in Ely, there was John Cicada on VH1. There was Joe Diffie on the CMT. There was stuff the Meatloaf. There was Elton John. Tons of stuff. I mean, all that stuff I still listen to this day, but it's like, if I would have just done that all the way through, I wouldn't have missed anything. So instead of listening to every rap song that ever was created, E40, another one, Too Short. I love those guys.
DMX.
Yeah, I love DMX.
We forgot completely about him.
In that late 90s popping onto the scene. It's just, and none of it's wrong. I mean, again, you're going to like what you like, but
I forgot about AC/DC.
Yep.
For me, a big band in high school was Toll.
Mm-hmm.
And James Maynard Keenan, he was just different. Him and Trent Reznor from 9 Inch Nails, they just hit you different. Same with Lane Staley, they hit you different. I like Pearl Jam, Temple of the Dog. James Maynard Keenan did a band later on. It was called A Perfect Circle. It was good. They had the super group with Stone Temple Pilots, dude. Velvet Revolver with Slash and Duff. They were excellent. I was just looking through like Motorhead. What else did I see in here? I was just going through my list, it's like crazy because you look at all this music, Prince. No one mentions how good a freaking guitar player Prince was. You listen to some of those songs. What's the song? 7. Yeah, 7. The guitar riffs in that is just phenomenal. I mean, he just rips it, and he was Minnesota born. So, Queens of the Stone Age. They had an album that came out, and it was the bass in that was just it was just amazing. So it like goes on and on. I'm just looking. Remember Ramstein? Ramstein?
Rammstein.
Yeah. They were Rob Zombie.
Oh fuck, I love Rob Zombie.
Sepultura.
I
Scorpion.
actually prefer White Zombie over Rob Zombie. Just personal preference.
I think we've had that discussion before too. I remember you saying that.
I like some of Rob Zombie stuff. It just White Zombie hits different.
That the two Rob Zombie songs, two that probably everyone that's our age should know. Living Dead Girl,
Dragula.
Dragula. Those two, when they start, that's why it was so tough with that concert to like hold the phone and just be stupid because I'm like, these are songs that every basketball trip we had, every football trip, I would be playing that CD constantly. And so it's just like, okay, now you remember that. I've listened to it over the years. It's probably every month I'm listening to at least a couple times. And so
Sorry, Dave.
No, it's just you just, and again, for each one of us, it's gonna be a different memory that
Very true.
invokes something.
So Yannick, I graduated in '97, and I was still into the same music that I am into now. I went to a lot of concerts in that era.
Mm-hmm.
Multiple Ozfests. Pantera, I saw them 3 times. Till I missed out on, unfortunately. I had tickets and didn't go. But a lot of the bands of that era in the rock genre I had a chance to see. There's still a few that I regret not seeing or missed out on seeing, but sometimes that happens.
I saw that coming. Didn't warn you.
Oh, I saw them. I just wasn't expecting it to be that hard on the head.
You guys remember the Wallflowers?
I do.
Almost a perfect album. There's not a when their first album came out, that had to been like 97, 98.
Yep.
There was not a bad song on that whole CD. Same thing with Matchbox 20.
Yep. That first album.
You don't see albums where every song, like since the Illusion albums, perfection. Then you had that Wallflowers and Matchbox 20, their first albums. You don't have albums today where every song is just, they're all top #1 hits. They're just, if people would listen to everything, not just what they play on the radio. It's like, wow. One headlight.
Yep.
I've always. Sorry, go ahead, Dave.
I was lucky enough to find that at like a thrift store for like 79 cents on CD. So I'm like, you know what? For that price, and again, that song was catchy enough. Like I can throw down $1 for that, and glad I did because I don't think I've seen it when I look for CDs since then. Because I'm always looking for the old rap. Maybe somebody dumped a bunch or some kind of old, maybe there's Metallica in there that they got rid of. Right? That's the one I don't see. So that was a quality album. Again, at the time, that's not stuff I wanted to listen to at all. That wasn't like in the wheelhouse of me. Like Yannick says, what were you listening to when you graduated? Mine was 99, so it's Biggie had died 2 years before, so I was still listening to it though. There's still Eminem had come out. Just Master P. Like I said, Master P was fucking huge. And then just like everything, well, Bon Jovi, that another one too.
Van Halen.
Yeah, Van Halen. Like you said for C loves Michael Jackson. Naomi was, I put on Bad, the full Thriller video, and then Beat It, because Beat It, my favorite Jackson song, and it's not even close. Especially the fight scene. Van Halen and the guitar. I mean, I get far too into it. He's looking at me like, this is what you should do when you react to music. If it hits you like it does, if it affects you, you shouldn't be just sitting there. You need to at least be singing with the stuff.
Faith No More. Epic.
Oh,
Yep.
That's that. Danny Glover's brother. Can't think of the band. Called a Personality was the song.
I should know it. It's CM Punk's theme song.
Living Color.
Living Color. They were unbelievably good. And they didn't have a lot of stuff that was mainstream.
No. Like Terrence Trent D'Arby.
Yeah. There was a band called Helmet.
Yep.
Probably their biggest song was Unsung. I saw them in a little club in Pittsburgh called Metropole. And I remember the pit was vicious that night, and I came home a little bloodier than normal. That was a great show. Huh?
No, he didn't bump into a wall.
I bumped into a couple fists. Can't think of what else. I saw Metallica, and I think they were with System of a Down in college. And I remember Newstead started playing Sanitarium, and the whole place just went nuts. And that's my favorite Metallica song. And Hammett came up and started playing Hero of the Day. He interrupted it and turned it into Hero of the Day from the Load, because it was a Load tour. And I was so crushed. I was like, we can leave now. I looked at all my buddies and they're like, yeah, let's go. That just killed the vibe, man. It killed the vibe. You can't play Sanitarium and turn it into Hero of the Day.
No.
It's sacrilegious.
And the dog agrees.
Hashtag invest in dog treats. You guys would make tons of money. Ugly Kid Joe. That was Hate Everything About You.
Yep. Offspring.
Yeah. That was another one.
Green Day.
Oh, yeah, Green Day.
Third Eye
Nirvana.
Blind.
He mentioned Nirvana, the unplugged version of Nirvana. That's crazy stuff.
That's one of their best albums.
Yep. And then I'm pretty sure Alice in Chains did Unplugged, and it's phenomenal. You don't get music. Like, I was happy when a couple years ago Greta Van Fleet came out, and they put out another perfect first album, in my opinion. Their first album was fantastic. It has a Zeppelin sound. And the funny thing, the guy said, I never listened to Zeppelin growing up, but he sounds just like Led Zeppelin.
Mhm.
And they put out this great album, and I'm like, okay, second album's coming out. Pre-ordered on iTunes. Major disappointment. And I'm like, they were a little band from Frankenmuth, Michigan. Took their name after an older lady up there in Michigan's little Bavaria. And first album was made in their garage, and it was great. Then after that, it just went.
It happens.
I'm yet to find. I'm waiting for that next, big rock band. I've had enough. You've had enough. Go away. There. Like a dealer in Las Vegas. Away with you. Somebody needs to mention Kiss for Eric. Since his Instagram post the other day. I wasn't big into Kiss, but there's a few tunes that are pretty solid. Rat, that was another one.
A lot of good music out there, man. A lot.
I'm quiet because I'm trying to remember if we've forgotten anyone. That the stuff from like the early 2000s is stuff I'm trying to push in my head. Three Doors Down, they had a lot of great stuff early on.
Yes, Cinderella.
3 Days Grace. Trivium, In Flames. I know there's more. There's one concert or one festival over in the state of Virginia this year. Early September. Tried
Go away.
to get my brother to go. If they had Slipknot there, I think he would have been in, but
Go away, go back.
it was so many of these bands from like the late 90s, early 2000s as rock groups. Like everyone, like anybody that you wanted to see, you could have seen, and he just wasn't into it. I'm like, fuck, if it was like a top 25 list, you could have knocked out half, if not more than half, of what you wanted to see. Like Blur, I would like to see Blur just for song 9. It's 2.5 minutes long, but just the energy in that song.
311.
The Beatles of rap rock. I mean, they're just
Sublime.
Sublime was good.
My wife just said Ozzy and Sabbath. How could I forget those guys? We mentioned Ozfest, so
Well, and I mentioned Ozzy earlier.
Black Label Society.
Yep. Zach Wild, BLS.
The funniest thing that I will always associate with card collecting
Too.
is going to back to my original story of that day, going to find those Lemieux cards in Fleer Ultra. It was what, 92, 93 Fleer Ultra.
Mm.
Everywhere I went that day, in the car, everywhere. Whitney Houston's I Will Always Love You. It will forever be associated with card collecting for me. It's weird, but yes, wife, it is weird, but I will always have that memory of that song being played in the card shops, the 3 card shops I went to that day. Everyone I went in, Whitney Houston, I Will Always Love You.
Well, if you're going from that time period, you have to have Mr. Big to Be With You.
Yeah.
And then you have to have Bryan Adams, the song from Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
What was that one? Everything I do it for you.
Yeah. I'm just remembering like the top 5 or top 10 countdown on MTV, like after school at like 4 o'clock.
Yep.
They'd have like the 5 videos of the day or whatever. And God, that's all that played on there. The only thing, like those 3, one you mentioned, the 2 I did, and the other 2, it didn't even matter. It was like a Bon Jovi Always at some point and whatever else. That's just like, good Lord, the same stuff. I get they're good. But now, again, in retrospect, you don't hear them all the time. You can hashtag appreciate them when they do come on. Instead of back then, you hear them 8, 10 times a day. Radio station, TV. If you're going to the card shop or the mall or dinner or something, they got the light music on in the back. And then you hear the and I will always love you. Ooh. You hear that all the time. It's like, good Lord.
Nice one, Dave. Nice.
Again, when you think the IRP has sunk to the lowest that it can go,
We have not yet begun to embarrass ourselves.
hold my mics.
Dave can always find a way.
Yeah.
Dave can always find a way.
That. You want to talk about people that dig their own graves.
And who can forget who let the dogs out? Vinny.
Oh, that was horrible.
Go. Go. Both figuratively and musically.
Yeah.
Nah. We'll send it to collections.
It was under $600. I'll pay it $87. $89.
Let's say 88 Greg Jeffries rated rookies.
Yep.
Pay it at $91. Come on.
The Black and Decker, whatever subset card, Bud Black and Steve Decker. What a great tandem they were for 8 games. Deserve their own card.
Of course they did, Dave. Come on. Marketing.
Yeah.
Journey.
Yeah, Journey, Steve Perry. Oh, fuck. Chicago and Peter Cetera.
Yeah.
Air Supply.
Every Karate Kid movie. Chicago.
Oh,
Boston.
Richard Mark.
Him and his piano.
Oh, he's good on the piano. Billy Joel.
Well, yeah, Billy Joel.
I'm not knocking it.
Sean.
I wasn't knocking it.
There's just so much to listen to. But again, usually it's the mood and what you want to accomplish. Not musically listening to, but you're cleaning around the house, if you just want to fucking chill out, mellow out. Some of that Celine Dion, that's perfect for just falling asleep to, because again, you don't want to listen to a lot of her upbeat stuff because that's not that great. The more lovesy-dovesy type songs are, again, what I prefer. That's what I prefer. So if you just want to lay down, just rest, and if you fall asleep to music, I can't, because usually if I hear something, it jerks me out, and I'm like, oh, well, what? And I'm starting to listen and sing along with the song. But card-wise, yeah, it usually depends, and it's not usually the heavy stuff for me. I'm listening to more rap, more mellow stuff. If I'm going to a concert, I'm listening to heavy stuff, loud. So, again, to each their own. Figured this episode, at least we could talk about music, which we all love. I mean, anywhere, any person. If you can't play music, you can play air guitar, or Kenny G, air sax, or Jerry Rafferty, Baker Street. That's another great tune. You can play that, and Madonna. Who can forget Madonna? We just about did. Paul Abdul. She's got a couple bangers from the late 80s that are the Rush, Straight Up. I know there's one or two more.
Linda
stuff.
Carlisle. Go-Go's.
Yeah. Tiffany. Cyndi Lauper.
Oh, Cyndi Lauper.
The Bangles. Not the Bengals, the Bangles.
Roxette.
Roxette.
I should know that because that's one of my Fading Like a Flower. That's one of my all-time favorite songs. Not She's Got the Look. Not any of that. Fading Like a Flower. That's a top-notch song. But now, instead of listening to those songs that we hated 20, 30 years ago, maybe not hated, we're just, you know what, you didn't need to hear them every hour. Now, I'd even say go back, if anybody's watching this now, or in the archive, and go listen. Go listen to these songs that you might have not cared for 20, 30 years ago, 15, 10 years ago, whatever it is.
Steve knows who they are.
Who knows who?
Jay Giles Band.
Oh, yeah. What about Robert Palmer?
Cool.
Yeah.
I know Robert Palmer.
Rod Stewart.
Oh.
I know Rod Stewart.
Who else is going to bring you a Broken Arrow? Who else is going to bring you a Bottle of Light? Rod Stewart. Rod Stewart will bring you that. So, again, just go back, listen to these songs. If you hate them still, that's fine. If you hate them because of a reason, again, that's fine too. Just go back and listen, because there's a lot of stuff that I know I've done that to over the years, where as stubborn as I am now, musically, I was so... There was that narrow focus we've talked about before with the Blinders on. I don't... If it wasn't Biggie, Pac, Snoop Dre, Bone, Nas, Do or Die, whoever else in that mid to late 90s, some Coolio. It maybe okay. There's a Weezer song. Okay, I like that, but I don't want to. I'm not gonna buy it. Green Day. I like a couple from Dookie, but I'm not gonna buy it. Offspring. I love like 3/4 or something. Nope, I can't. It's those guys. That stuff only. Puff Daddy. Buster Rhymes. So go back, listen again. Even if it's not on Pandora, it's not on Spotify or whatever. Go listen on YouTube. There's tons of this stuff out there. Take 5-10 minutes, put together a list. Maybe there's some stuff that you just dislike then, and go back, listen. So, any final parting shots, fellas?
You too. I couldn't believe I forgot about them.
No, we're right here, Vinny. You didn't forget about us. We're right here.
Annie Lennox and the Eurythmics. Duran. There's another good one.
In Excess.
In Excess, yeah.
Well, the Pet Shop Boys.
The Beastie Boys, for that matter.
Typo Negative.
Yeah.
Coal Chamber. Fear Factory. Machine Head.
Motorhead.
Tom Petty. The Traveler.
Misfits.
Blueberries.
Bob Seger.
Lenny Kravitz.
The Killers.
Yeah, the Killers are really good.
And there's some other one.
POD.
What's the guy who went out to Vegas for?
Oh, the Smiths.
Morrissey.
Morrissey.
Santana.
Yeah.
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Cameron.
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Joel Santana.
The
Right.
Cars. Bush. Their first album.
Live.
Yep, live.
Silverchair.
Blondie.
Toad the Wet Sprocket.
Yep. Cake. Candlebox. Far Behind. You tell me that song don't get you jazzed.
No, that's a good one.
That's I'm just looking through my music. CCR, I've already said. The Cult. Remember The Cult? She Sells Sanctuary. Fire Woman.
I remember the group, but I don't remember.
Love Removal Machine.
Oh, I can picture the song. I can picture the video. I can hear the song, but I don't know the guy the one that's like, you may ask yourself, what am I doing in this place? And
How
you may
bizarre.
ask, who?
How bizarre. How bizarre. Is that the song?
Nope, not OMC or OMG or whatever. This was like an early 80s guy. It's like, and the days go by and the water's underground. Do, 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 do.
Oh, no, I know the tune.
Like once in a million or once in a lifetime. I just don't know who sings it. And I'd be remiss without saying the Bee Gees. That's one of my favorite groups of all time. Benny King. And he Stand By Me. You got to play that.
Yeah, I have BB King in here. Dire Straits. Diamond Head. Digital Underground.
Everly Brothers. Then you have. Here's your obscure. Not that we haven't mentioned any obscure shit. Dickie Lee. Listen to called Patches. And I think his other hit was Laura. But the Patches one is just the story from the lyrics. It's amazing. I mean, we've come up with one of the guys that worked at the store. Then he moved over to Poland in September because he was going to college over there for whatever reason. To kill our time and to have sanity over at the store, we came up with like a movie about it. And again, it sounds absolutely like the dumbest thing, and you're going to be wondering what needles or what crack pipes have been smoking out of, but just a movie based on like the lyrics and like, because the lyrics are so clear, concise. Back in that, I think that was like a hit in 62 or 63. So again, when you could tell a story, you didn't have to overly complicate it with anything else but music and a story. But Dickie Lee, I urge anyone to look up his 2 songs. That Patches is going to be the money, and then Laura. It's good music. And with that, I'm sure we've forgotten more, but that's at this point in time. The ones we've forgotten are outnumbered by the ones we've mentioned.
John Denver, Country Roads. That one hits me hard because I live in the big city now, and I'm a small town podunk, as my wife says. No offense to you, Bob Lewis. We're from the same area but Country Roads is just, when we're driving back to Pennsylvania to see my folks, I'll turn that song on for a couple minutes, and it just makes me feel good. My wife hates it the whole time, but I enjoy it.
I'm trying to think of others, but at the same time, we're coming up on 3 hours, so.
You got like, and that was mentioned, I think, Leonard Skinner, the Stones, the Who, Zeppelin, Bob Dylan. I guess if you have Chicago, you got to have Styx in there too.
Yep. Anthrax.
Scott Ian, got to have him in there.
Public Enemy. Bring the noise.
Tracy
Aerosmith and Running DMC.
Tracy Chapman, Arrested Development. Oh, why can't I think of? I can't remember the group, but I remember it's like the I Want to Sex You Up.
Belle Biv. No, it's not Belle Biv DeVoe. Nope. We need your music, thesaurus over here, wife.
What?
I Want to Sex You Up. Who sang that song? That was your genre.
Yeah, because it was like a black dude, a nerdy white guy, like a Fabio ripoff, and like a Kenny G lookalike.
Oh, yeah, I remember. Oh, what were they called?
Then you had like All for One, which I know that's not them, but because they sampled
Color Me Bad.
Color Me Bad, that's it.
Yeah, Color Me Bad.
I cheated.
Biz Marquee.
New Edition.
New Edition, yeah.
Nah,
Bobby Brown.
Nobody wants to listen to Bobby Brown.
Except my wife.
Cypress Hill.
Yeah, Cypress Hill. Big and Rich on the countryside. They could tell a story in a song. My wife can't stand them, but man, I love Big and Rich. I would love to go see them in concert.
Stand, whatever their first or second hit.
Save a horse, ride a cowboy.
Oh fuck.
But the 8th of November, if you don't get tears in your eyes, listen to 8th of November. That song is.
You guys didn't say Madonna.
Yeah, we did say Madonna.
Tears for Fears.
Tears for Fears. There's another one.
Depeche Mode.
I mentioned Depeche Mode.
Did you? You're all
So
my
did-
favorite Culture Club.
Culture Club.
Flock
Boy
I-
George.
I want to tell you something.
Brian Adams.
Yeah, we mentioned Brian Adams.
White Snake.
White Snake, we didn't mention them.
Flock of Seagulls.
Flock of Seagulls, which my hair looks like right now.
Cure.
Let's
The
see.
Cure. Yeah, The Cure. How could we forget The Cure?
BOC. Don't Fear the Reaper.
Yeah.
Did you guys say Huey Lewis in the News?
Huey Lewis in the News. That's a good one too.
You said the Police, right?
The Police. I forgot.
see
Stay in
what-
the
Genesis. Phil
Yeah.
Collins.
Phil Collins. I have him in here. Billy Idol.
Yeah. Did you say Simple Minds
Simple Minds. There's another one.
and Foreigner?
Foreigner.
Another good one.
Yeah.
Going back to the 70s, what about Queen?
Queen. That's another good one.
Easy for them to slip through the cracks.
Yeah. Jeez. Blues Travelers. Remember
Oh.
them?
I love John Popper.
Oh, his harmonica. Oh,
Uh, uh, well, I can fucking pick the Mr. Jones.
I have them too. I can't think of their name. I'll find it.
Counting
Bad
Crows.
Counting Crows.
Company?
Bad Company. Bare Naked Ladies.
Steve's like, just like,
I know a lot of them.
What Jack Black's bunch? What was that?
Tenacious D.
Yeah, Tenacious D. What's the other guy? Seven Nations Army.
White Stripes.
White Stripes. Thank you.
Jack White.
Jack White.
You guys just naming off bands now.
Yes, pretty much what it's come to. And we're just Bobby Darin, Mac the Knife, man. That's
How about Bobby McFerrin? Don't
Oh.
worry, be happy.
with that video with him and what's his name? Robin Williams.
No, Chevy, isn't it? Is it Robin or Chevy?
It's Robin. Chevy Chases with
Paul Simon.
Paul Simon. Yeah.
You can call me Al or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. If you be my bodyguard. Springsteen. Didn't mention him. I think I mentioned the Cars.
The
Yeah.
Beach Boys.
Cheap Trick.
The Beach Boys.
Yeah. Definitely. The Animals. House of the Rising Sun. There's a tune to get you. When they play that in Casino, that'll get you. Yeah, Peter Gabriel, Sledgehammer.
That's who I was trying to think of.
Yep. Did you ever hear The Darkness?
That's a guy that's got the high voice too.
Yeah, the falsetto voice. They were here for a hot minute, and then they were gone. A Thing Called Love.
I believe in the thing called love.
Yep. Devo.
Dude.
Dixie's Midnight Runners.
Jimmy.
Hendrix, yeah.
Eagles and Eddie Money.
Take Me Home Tonight.
Everlast. Everclear.
What? How have we not mentioned House of Pain?
Yeah, House of Pain. Because I didn't get to the H's yet. I'm on the F's. Faster Pussycat. Filter.
Corner.
We said
Fuel.
Corner.
Fuel. Hemorrhage in My Head.
Oh, yeah, Fuel. Stained. Did you mention them, Steve? Maybe. The Flies. Got You Where I Want You. That song.
Sorry, what was that?
Stained. Did you mention them?
No,
It's
not sure why.
Lincoln Park.
Gary Allen on the country front. He has some good tunes.
The One.
Lincoln Park.
Heart. Yeah, Heart.
What they said.
What'd you say?
Lincoln Park.
Yeah, Lincoln
Lincoln
Park.
Park. George Michael. I love George Michael. I love George Michael.
Paul had that a
He
little
can
bit.
sing.
Wham.
Yes, Millie Vanilli.
Possibly.
Top of the ninth.
George Thorogood and the Destroyers. One bourbon, one scotch, one beer.
7-0 Atlanta. Top of the ninth.
Wow.
Kenny Chesney.
Godsmack.
Kenny Chesney's good on the countryside.
What'd you call it, Bobos?
I took it off.
This Yoakum's got a couple of that are enjoyable.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Judas Priest. You got another thing coming.
Oh, did you compare
Chuck Berry.
with my dingling?
I think she's entertaining more herself over there than
No.
Shut up, asshole.
Casey and the Sunshine Band.
You guys are old.
So are you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Corn. We forgot about them.
Yep, right here, Benny.
Rage.
Yep. Rage Against the Machine. Chris Cornell. I kind of mentioned him with the Temple of the Dog.
Friday.
Skinnerd.
Soundgarden.
Simple Man from Skinnerd. That's the one that gets the old memories flowing.
Simply Red. I think that was one of some
Yep.
goof-
Megadeth. Well, I don't think anybody said Megadeth. Dave Mustaine.
I thought you mentioned them earlier when you were talking about some of the stuff that you were listening to.
Motley Crue. Poison.
No, Crew. Crew and Poison, yeah.
Def Leppard. One of my wife's favorites. She loves Whitney.
What?
You love Whitney Houston.
Two.
Yes, you do love Nickelback. How the show ends.
Does she love Hinder?
Hinder? Yeah, I remember Hinder. Do you remember Hinder?
Lips of an Angel, the only
Yeah.
song that was worth a damn.
And that got played into the ground quickly.
Yes.
Daughtry. Like Daughtry's got some decent stuff too.
Neil Young.
Take care, Eric.
Good night, Eric. Oasis. There was some craziness right there.
Let's say if those two fuckers, Liam and Noel or whatever, if those two assholes could ever get along for more than 5 minutes.
God, they were good. Outcast. Big Boy and Andre 3000. They put, even C asked, who are these guys? I'm like, here, listen to this. Parliament Funkadelic.
Sugar Hill Gang.
Yep, I got them. Patti
And then-
Smith.
Yes, Paul, I'm ignoring yours.
Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five.
Yep. Primus.
Oh, we're known as Big Brown Beaver.
Yep. They were playing, if I would have known, they were playing Freedom Hill up here like 5 weeks ago. It said Primus. And we went past going to Shelby's house. And I was like, Primus. My wife, like, who? I'm like, Primus, you know? She was like, no, I don't know.
Bloodhound Gang.
The roof. The roof. The roof is on fire.
Come on, boys.
We don't
Remember-
know about it.
Alien Ant-Farm.
Yep. Traveling Willsberries
Who said
with
that?
Roy Orbison.
Said that.
Did you?
Because then I said Tom Petty afterwards.
Oh, okay. Twisted Sister.
They were amazing.
Green Jelly with the little pigs let me in. Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin.
This one was big. Remember the Verve Bittersweet Symphony?
Yes.
The video for that one?
You remember the Verve Pipe and Freshman?
Yep.
Yes.
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 I
Marcy
like
Playground and Sex and Candy.
Yep.
that was all in that sort of like time frame where it was all goofballish, like alternative like music.
One hit wonders out the wazoo in that time. Yeah, I don't listen to Kings of Leon, but I know who they are.
Muse. There's a couple Muse songs that I like. And then
ZZ Top.
Smash Mouth.
Hmm.
Not again that stuff I listen to. But
Chumbawamba.
Lou Bega?
Yeah.
Mambo number 5.
Yep. Electric Slide.
Red Hot Chili Peppers?
Red Hot Chili Peppers. I don't know how the heck I missed them.
Papa Roach.
182.
Yeah, Blink 182. The Ramones.
Jane's Addiction.
Jane's Addiction.
Been Caught Stealing.
And your all-time favorite, the Spice Girls.
Ugh. When two become one.
Radiohead. Coldplay.
Yep.
Marvin Gaye.
Three Doors Down.
We mentioned Three Doors Down. We said their first album was almost perfect.
And Rick, we already got Flock of Seagulls.
Modern English.
Yep.
Another one of your favorites. Limp Bizkit.
Oh, Limp Bizkit.
And then if you mention them, you got to mention Korn.
Yeah, which I did, I think.
Okay.
And you know, your ultimate boy band, New Kids on the Block.
Yeah, I think Dave mentioned them.
No, I mentioned all the other ones.
Yeah. That's
Somebody
the one he did
told
mention.
somebody told me that they were going out on tour again.
Yeah, I think my wife's getting tickets
What?
for the New Kids.
Oh, hell
back.
no.
I thought you wanted to go with the girls.
I can't stand those people.
Oh, I thought you liked the Backstreet Boys and them.
The Backstreet Boys, yes. New Kids on the Block, absolutely not.
Salt and Pepper.
Yeah.
And of course, Tag Team. Who's going to forget them?
How about Little Kim?
No doubt.
No doubt. They were big in the late 90s.
Black Eyed Peas.
Black Eyed, well, those are more 2000s.
Yeah, but late 90s.
Yeah, I guess late 90s.
TLC.
TLC.
SWV. En Vogue.
Salt
Yeah.
and Pepper.
Dave just
Mark.
said them.
Marky Mark.
Marky Mark.
Oh my God.
And the Funky Bunch. Yes, the actor, but
Blinded me with science.
Anthony, the actor.
Who?
Will Smith.
Well, we already mentioned Will Smith.
Oh, did you?
Eric
yeah,
did.
Fresh Prince. Yeah, Fresh Prince.
112. If you like the R&B.
DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince.
Oh, fuck. Who was it?
Nutty.
Who?
Rob Bass and... Oh,
Gwen Stefani, or I mean, the other one before Gwen Stefani. Oh, you got Shakira in there. Taylor.
Blondie.
Yeah, Blondie. Miami Sound Machine with Gloria Stefan.
Yes, that's who I was thinking of.
Weezer had a lot of good songs.
Come on, you guys said LL Cool J, right?
I don't think we said LL Cool J.
Filter.
Filter, yeah.
How can we forget Snow from up in Canada?
You talk about Canada, we need to mention Rush.
Rush.
And
Rush
and
was good. Well, let's not forget Shaq either. Come on now, guys.
Yep, Rat. My wife mentioned them. We've made a national pact to forget Snow. Ricky Martin, Living La Vida Loca.
What was the whole Menudo?
Menudo, yeah, that's where he came from.
All right, we're coming up on the 3:15 mark.
318 is a sweet spot.
We hadn't hit 3:18 in a while.
Vixen. There was one from New Jersey, I think. Lita Ford.
Couple Bonnies, Bonnie Tyler and Bonnie Raitt.
Yep. Pat Benatar. Yep.
Whatever's left of them, Rick.
Yeah. After that little thing, Alice Cooper too.
I said that a long time ago.
Well, if you were on screen, we wouldn't have this problem.
Oh, bite me. Just be sleeping.
Two down. Bottom of the ninth.
Talking.
Deep purple.
Deep Purple. Velvet Underground.
We're now on the purple color. Morris Day in the Time.
Morris Day in the Time. Quiet
James.
Night.
Yep, Quiet Riot.
Yes, I do, Yannick. When Garth Brooks did that, his alternate ego, he did it twice. He was Chris Ledoux. He sang a bunch of songs about him, and then he did that alternate personality.
I don't know.
Braves are the world champions.
Chris Gaines. That's what it was. Yeah, Yannick, Chris Gaines. Braves just won the World Series.
Seriously?
Yes.
That's what I just said.
And Acuna sales. Yep, you've heard it here.
7-0 the final.
Make
Yep.
it higher.
They only gave up one touchdown.
Wrong sport, Dave.
Falcons beat the Texans. Good for them.
I'm glad Atlanta won.
Can you take me high enough?
Damn Yankees, yeah. Ted Nugent.
Yep.
Terrible Ted.
Uncle Ted. Yep, around here.
Uncle Cracker.
Yeah.
Ugh. Kid Rock.
Yep. Seven Mary 3. Cumbersome. Rusted Root. They were big in the late 90s. Chris. Steve, did you say Silverchair? Skilo. I wish.
You did say the Foo Fighters, didn't you?
Foo Fighters, yeah, I forgot about them.
Did you say Soundgarden?
Soundgarden, somebody mentioned them. Actually, Chris Cornell, so. I think we've named every CD in the basement. I could always just go grab the box.
No, don't do that.
Hour 5.
Yeah.
And he's on CD 312.
Yeah, this isn't an infomercial for all this stuff. I mean, as much as it is, it isn't. We're not getting paid yet.
Hootie and the Blowfish.
Darius Rucker.
Yep.
The hell you giggling at, Dave?
I know what he's giggling at.
Watch.
Are you having fun muting him?
Maybe. Possibly.
If you're going to do it, at least do it right.
Yeah.
Sleep is not for the weak, and sleep is not overrated.
No.
In my younger days, it was. Not in my older.
Not now, though. Oh,
Did you say the Smashing Pumpkins?
No, Smashing Pumpkins.
we might have early on, but that was like 2 hours ago.
I don't remember them being mentioned.
As Toby Keith would say, that was 16 IRPs ago.
Probably. Toby Keith wasn't mentioned either.
Yeah.
But with that being said, hate to end it on Toby Keith, but he's got one of the worst songs of all time. A 3-cent cup that he's in love with, but I digress. Any last words, fellas? Besides more bands, groups, singers.
We'll leave it to Dave Archer and his Texas 2.
It's Texas too.
Thank everyone joining, entertaining us with the comments as well. That helped. A lot of groups we wouldn't have picked up on. Fun times. Different subject. Again, didn't have to be too hobby centric. If everybody else can talk about how great their app stuff is and say they're a true hobbyist, and you can talk about women in the hobby every other week. We can talk about music. We're the best. Fuck you all. Thank Vinny jumping on. Steve for the youth. Also, takes a second. Like or dislike, comment, subscribe. Remember, hit up our OnlyFans, PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, Zelle, well-concealed cash, Western Union, money order, our Discord, what else? Oh, crypto wallet, of course, that. Mustn't forget. Super chat. You can hit the super chat right over in that area there. Vinny's head. You're not on mute. You can. Give to Vinny, I guess.
No, I was just the button.
Smash the like button. Smash the dislike button. Smash the button. Buttons on the pants. Buttons on your coat. Game used buttons. The button. The plunger. Plunge the toilet.
No whammies, no whammies, no whammies.
You beat me to it, Ted.
Over me. Every time. So with that,
Watch you, Chris.
with that, Benny, Steve, I'm Dave. Remember, collecting cards, beautiful. The friendships you forge and make in this hobby, what it's really about. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.